Hello students. In the last class, I started a new chapter of plant physiology, that is photosynthesis. In the previous lecture, I explained about definition, the general equation and the significance of photosynthesis, and after finishing that I also explained about the discovery of the photosynthesis. In that I explained about various physiologists, how they worked on photosynthesis. We all read it in the last class. Now I am going to explain about exactly where this photosynthesis takes place. See, if you take, this is the photosynthesis process. In photosynthesis process, the carbon dioxide and water, they are considered as the raw materials of the photosynthesis. Now these carbon dioxide and water, they will be taken by this leaf. How? If you take the carbon dioxide it will be taken by the leaf by using a special structure that is called as stomata, whereas this water, the plant, it consisting of roots. These roots, they absorb this water from the soil. Now from the soil the water finally it is reaching to the leaf, because the roots, they are connected to the stem they are connected to the branch, and branch it connects to the this stalk. Did you see? This is called midrib. You can see now, you just follow my arrow mark, then you can be able to see this is a midrib. So they are connected to the, that means these branches are connected to the midrib, and throughout this midrib, branch, stem and root, you can be able to see a special connective tissue, a special conductive tissue. I'm extremely sorry, I used the wrong word. A special conductive tissue that is called as xylem. With the help of xylem, the water which is present in the soil, actually it is present in the soil, all the way it is crossing root, and it is crossing the stem, and it is crossing the branch, and it is crossing the midrib, and finally it is reaching into the mesophyll tissue. What is mesophyll tissue? The photosynthetic tissue that is present in the leaf is called as mesophyll tissue. Now this is how the carbon dioxide and water, they are entering into the leaf. Now this both are available in the plant now, but they can't be able to participate in the photosynthesis. To participate in the photosynthesis they need some energy. So this is sun, in the form of sunlight, it is providing some energy. So in the presence of sunlight, carbon dioxide and water, they react with each other to produce the ultimate source, the ultimate product, that is called as a carbohydrate. Of course you know which form of carbohydrate that is produced, that is nothing but glucose, and along with that some amount of oxygen and also some amount of water, it is also released. So this is called photosynthesis. And today's class, what we are going to explain, this leaf may exactly where, in the last class also I told, in the plants the leaf, it is called as kitchen of the plant. This all points in, even in the last class also I discussed. But today's class, what I wanted to explain is, in this leaf again where exactly this photosynthesis mechanism is taking place. So that is all today's class. Now let us take all the details in a very easy way. I'll try to explain you. Okay, now before I start where exactly the photosynthesis takes place, you should know the photosynthesis is a complex chemical reaction. So photosynthesis is not so easy, because it is very complex chemical reaction. It is broadly categorized into two phases. What are they? The first one, it is called as light phase. Of course you should understand, in some textbooks it is also given as light reaction. Meaning is same, so you don't worry about the word. Light reaction you write, light phase you write, but you don't get, you don't need to confuse, because meaning is same. Whereas the dark reaction or dark phase. So these are the two phases by which this photosynthesis is broadly categorized. Now let us take the first one. The first one is light phase or light reaction. This light reaction, it is also called as a photochemical reaction. Why? Please wait, I will explain this very detail in the light reaction. Now I am just giving the overall idea. That's why I'm stopping this, because if I start explaining this, it takes a long explanation. That's why you just remember light phase or light reaction. It is also called as photochemical reaction. Whereas such a photochemical reaction, it takes place in the thylakoid membranes of the chloroplast. Again, I'm repeating, light reaction, it takes place in the thylakoid membranes of the chloroplast. Now, this light reaction was explained by Robert Hill. He is a scientist. He explained, because he explained, he gave his name to this phase or a reaction. That's why light reaction, it is also called as Hill's reaction. Students, are you noticing? Till now I used three words. One, light reaction. Second one, it is also called as a photochemical reaction. And the third one, it is also called as Hill's reaction. Abhi tak I gave three names. Now fourth name also I am giving, because this light reaction, it need light energy. That's why it is also called as a light dependent reaction. That means it is clearly showing something. Without light, you can't be able to see, you can't be able to notice the light phase that is taking place in the leaves. That's why absolutely it is dependent upon light. That's why it is called as a light dependent reaction. Hope you understood. Very good. What exactly happening in the light phase? Light phase, it is taking place in the leaf, but उसका वजह से plant को क्या मिल रहा है? It is producing the energy sources like ATP and NADPH2. So these are the outputs of the light reaction. See, these are the thylakoid membranes. Now these thylakoid membranes, they are taking what carbon dioxide and also water, and of course in the presence of light, they are producing ATP and NADPH2. So these ATP and NADPH2s, they are produced by the light reaction. Now let us take the second one. Photosynthesis, it is broadly categorized into light reaction and dark reaction. Till now I explained about light reaction. Now I am going to explain about dark reaction. Where dark reaction takes place? It takes place in the stroma. See, this is a fluid part of the chloroplast. So in the fluid part of the chloroplast, which you are calling it as stroma, in the stroma, this dark reaction takes place. Where in this dark reaction, the atmospheric carbon dioxide, it converts into the food material. What is this G3P? Glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. First of all, the food material, it is produced in form of glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, and later this glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, it converts into glucose. Of course, you don't worry about anything. I am going to explain all these cycles very detailed way. So clearly I'll discuss. So आपको कुछ दिक्कत नहीं आएगा. So right now you understand this carbon dioxide, it is first converted into glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, and later this glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, it converts into glucose, and of course glucose, it will be converted into starch. That this point obviously every one of us know. So this takes place in dark reaction. That's why it is called as carbon fixation. See, light phase, it is taking place in thylakoid membranes, whereas dark phase, it is taking place in the stroma of the chloroplast. It is called as photochemical reaction, whereas it is called as carbon fixation. It was explained by Robert Hill, whereas it is explained by Melvin Calvin. Because Melvin Calvin explained this dark reaction is also called as Kelvin's pathway or Kelvin's cycle. You write anything, there is no problem. Kelvin's cycle, you write Kelvin's pathway, because it was explained by Melvin Calvin. That's why it is called as Kelvin's pathway or Kelvin's cycle. Whereas in the light reaction, ATP and NADP, that means energy sources are produced. Then dark reaction में क्या होता है? Here, this ATP and NADP, which are energy sources that are produced by the light reaction, they are utilized in the dark reaction, and then it is producing the food material, and they are utilizing the energy sources. That's why again this particular ATP, it is converted into ADP, and NADPH2, it is converted into NADP, and again they are going back to this light reaction, and again they are converted into ATP and NADPH2. That means their energy forms are coming and they are losing energy here, because pura energy usko de rahe hai, so that the carbon dioxide is converting into food material. Whereas after they are losing energy, again they are going back to light reaction, and again they are becoming energized again. So like that, it's a cyclic process. Light reaction, dark reaction, again dark reaction, light reaction, like that. It is a cyclic process. Hope you understood. and the outputs of the light reaction is ATP and NADP. They are the energy sources, and the output of the dark reaction is the carbon dioxide is converted into food material, that means carbohydrates. Hope you understood. These are the two phases. Now I am going to explain exactly where this light phase and where this dark phase, they are exactly where they are taking place. I am going to explain. Now, see this diagram. I already explained in the morphology of flowering plants. So this is a branch or stem. Because leaves arises from branches also, they are arising from stem also. Let us take this as a stem, and this is called internode. The exact place where the leaves are attaching to this stem or branch, that is called as internode. And this internode, from here the leaf it is arising. आपको see, you just follow this arrow mark, आपको समझ में आएगा. This is called, I'm extremely sorry, I'm really very sorry, this is called as a node. And the junction that is present, the part that is present between two nodes, that is called as internode. And the node is a portion where the leaf it arises from the branch or stem. So this is a node. From the nodal portion, the leaf it is arising, and the stalk of the leaf it is called as a petiole, and the exact portion with which the leaf it is attached to the node, that is called as a leaf base. Now, so this is the leaf base with which it is exactly attached to the node. So again I am telling you, the first part of the leaf it is called as a leaf base with which it is attaching to the nodal portion. Point number one. Point number two, it gives rise to a stalk-like structure, and this stalk of the leaf it is called as a petiole. And then this petiole, it gives rise to the expanded region. This is called as a leaf blade. This is called as a pura. It is called as a leaf blade. Okay. Now this is, leaf lamina. So this pura, this structure it is called as a leaf lamina. And in this leaf lamina, this petiole, it enters, it emerges, and it converts into midrib. While it is passing from here to here, that means that leaf apex, which is called as a leaf tip, it is producing several branches. They are called as veins. And of course, veins, they are again bifurcated into veinlets. So this is a structure of the leaf. So a very short recap, like just 1 minute, I'll just give a small recap. The leaf that arises from the nodal portion of either branch or stem. Point number one. The exact structure with which the leaf it is attached to the nodal portion, that is called as a leaf base. Point number two. Point number three. From the leaf base there arises a stalk-like structure, and this stalk of the leaf it is called as petiole. Point number three. And from the petiole, arising from the petiole, there will be an expanded region. The expanded part it arises, that is called as a leaf lamina. Point number five. And point number six. This petiole, into the leaf lamina it emerges, it enters. See, it is entering, and it is entering in form of midrib. See, this is called midrib. Okay, point number six. Point number seven is, well, the midrib it is reaching till the leaf apex, that means leaf tip, beach may it is producing several branches, and these branches are called as veins. This is point number 6. And point number 7 is, veins are also divided into several branches. They are called as veinlets, and the process of arrangement of veins on the leaf is called as venation. Hope you all understood what is the structure of leaf, and this all details I explained in the morphology of flowering plants. If you forget, there is no problem. Again, you go back to the morphology, and once you read it, sab aapko samajh mein aayega. And one more point I need to tell you, there arises a small greeny appendages from the leaf base. They are called as stipules. Okay. With this, I completed the morphology of the leaf. That means the external structure of the leaf. Now, such a leaf, you take it and you take a cross section. See, you have cross section, and then the small portion of this cross section, you observe it in the microscope. When you observe it in the microscope, you can get, this is the this is a proper internal structure of the leaf. Internally, this is a structure of leaf. if you take the internal structure of the leaf, it consisting of upper epidermis. See, this is upper epidermis. You just follow my arrow mark. Don't get confused. You just follow this arrow mark and सब आपको समझ में आएगा. So this is called as upper epidermis, which is covered by cuticle. See, this is called as cuticle, and cuticle and upper epidermis, they are meant for protection. Now, if you take the lower portion also, it is covered by lower epidermis and cuticle. But did you find the difference? You just stop this video and try to observe this for 1 minute. Then आपको समझ में आएगा what is the difference. The upper epidermis is continuous. See, it is not having any interruptions. See, इधर से इधर तक there is no any gaps. But did you notice the lower epidermis, it consisting of certain interruptions? What are these interruptions? These interruptions are nothing but stomatal complex. Stomatal complex means, this point I clearly explained in the morphology of flowering plants. Stomatal complex means subsidiary cells plus the guard cells plus the opening called as stoma, and these three together called as stomatal complex. See, this is stomatal complex. See, stomatal complex, it consisting of guard cells, आपको दिख रहा है ना, and the small opening, see a small fine opening, that is called as stoma. आपको समझ में आ रहा है ना? So आपको दिख रहा है ना? So this is called as stomata. Hope you understood. That means the upper epidermis is continuous, whereas the lower epidermis is discontinuous. It is interrupted by the stomatal complex. Now let us imagine the same structure with monocots. In monocots, this stomatal complex, it is present on the upper epidermis and also lower epidermis. That's why monocot leaf, it is called as amphistomatal leaf. What is the meaning of amphistomatal? Amphi means both. The stomata, it is present on the both sides. That means the upper side and also lower side. That means upper epidermis and also lower epidermis. दोनों epidermal regions में you can be able to see stomata in monocots. That's why monocots, it is called as amphistomatal leaf. But here in this image, what you can be able to see? This is an image of a dicot leaf. That's why it is called as hypostomatal leaf. What is the meaning of hypostomatal leaf? Hypo means it is the lower portion. Hypostomatal, that means what? Stomata, it is present only in the lower side of the leaf. That's why it is called as a hypostomatal leaf. Hope you understood now. Now, this is all about epidermis. And what is the function of epidermis? Obviously, epidermis and cuticle, they are meant for protection. They give protection to the inner portion of the leaf. इधर तक समझ में है ना? Now, the second portion, it is called as mesophyll tissue. This is all mesophyll tissue. Such mesophyll tissue, it is again divided into upper palisade parenchyma and the lower spongy parenchyma. What is the difference? What is this upper palisade and what is this spongy? Very simple, I'll tell you. Palisade parenchyma, they are rod-like structure. See, they are cylindrical. आपको दिख रहा है ना? See, you just follow my arrow mark. See, I'll show. So these are cylindrical. Am I correct or not? Hope you're understanding now. Whereas if you take the spongy, they don't have a proper pattern. See, they are irregular. They are amoeboid in their shape. They don't have a proper shape. And intercellular spaces are very, very less, are even absent. देखो, एक palisade cell है and एक दूसरा palisade parenchyma cell है. But बीच में intercellular spaces are very, very less, are even absent also. आपको दिख रहा है ना? That's why the upper side of the leaf, as it consisting of palisade parenchyma. As palisade parenchyma, intercellular spaces are very, very less or even absent. That is the reason why the upper side of the leaf, it is always a dark green in its color. Hope you remember this point. I told this point, it is a very important point while I am explaining about morphology of flowering plants. Hope you remember this point, okay? Whereas the lower side of the leaf, it is pale green. Of course, both the sides are green, but the upper side, it is a dark green and the lower side, it is pale green. रीजन क्या है ना? दिस इज स्पॉन्जी पैरेंकाइमा. आपको क्लियरली दिख रहा है ना? विदाउट, इफ आई डोंट एक्सप्लेन ऑल्सो आपको क्लियरली दिख रहा है ना? दिस इज अ स्पॉन्जी पैरेंकाइमा. सी कितना बड़ा इंटरसेलुलर स्पेसेस है. देखो देखो, आप दिख रहे हैं ना. So this इतना बड़ा बड़ा intercellular spaces are there. That's why they can't be thick. That is the reason why inner side as lower side as spongy parenchyma is present. The lower side of the leaf is pale green, light green in its color. Hope you understood na. Palisade parenchyma, a spongy parenchyma, palisade parenchyma cells are compactly arranged with less or no intercellular spaces. Spongy parenchyma, their cells consisting of great intercellular spaces. Because of the presence of the palisade parenchyma towards upper side, the upper side of the leaf it is dark green, and the lower side of the leaf as it consisting of spongy parenchyma with a lot of intercellular spaces, it is pale green. Hope you understood now. Now let us take opposite side. If you take monocots, monocots में both upper side and also lower side only spongy parenchyma is present. That's why the monocot leaf it is called as isobilateral. What is the meaning of isobilateral? Isobilateral means iso means what? Same. What is the meaning of bilateral? Dono sides. Dono sides it is exactly similar. There is no pale green dark green concept it is exist in monocots. In monocots upper side lower side दोनों एक ही जैसे दिखता है. That means they looks in the they look like same color. That is the reason why the monocot leaf it is called as isobilateral leaf, whereas the dicot leaf it is called as a dorsiventral. That means the dorsal side and ventral side they look separate. That means the upper side it is dark and lower side it is pale green. That's why dorsiventral leaf. Dicot leaves are called as dorsiventral leaf and monocot leaves are called as this isobilateral leaf. Hope you understood na? This is all about the palisade and also spongy parenchyma. And palisade and spongy parenchyma they participate in the photosynthesis, and this photosynthetic tissue that is present in between the upper and lower epidermis of the leaf that is called as a mesophyll tissue. Hope you understood what is a mesophyll tissue. Mesophyll tissue means the photosynthetic tissue that is present within the leaf it is called as mesophyll tissue. In dicots mesophyll tissue it is differentiated into palisade and spongy, whereas in monocots it is not differentiated into palisade and spongy, only spongy parenchyma is present in monocots. Hope you understood na. Now, if you take the central portion that means midrib. See, this is a midrib. I am talking about a midrib portion. In the midrib, you can be able to see this is a bundle sheath. What this bundle sheath it is doing? It is covering the xylem and phloem. What is xylem? Xylem is a chief water conductive tissue that is present in the plant, whereas पूरा नीचे सी देखो इधर नीचे you can be able to see phloem. Phloem it is meant for the transport of the food material. Understood na? Now let us compare with monocots. If you take monocots, monocots में parallel venation can be seen. That is the reason why many vesicular bundles are present, multiple vesicular bundles. Whereas in dicots, midrib में see this is a vesicular bundle. Of course veins, if you take veins, veins में भी छोटा छोटा vesicular bundles होते हैं because it consisting of reticulate venation. So I am taking only one vesicular bundle. Whereas parallel venation is present in monocots, many vesicular bundles I have to take. Hope you understood na? So this is the difference between dicot and monocot internal structure of the leaf. And coming to the point, what is the point? Hope you remember site of the photosynthesis, exactly where the photosynthesis is taking place. Come to that point because that only I am explaining. Now if you take the site of photosynthesis in the plant it takes place in the leaf. In the leaf it is taking place in the mesophyll. In the mesophyll again it is taking place in the chloroplast. That means again this mesophyll both spongy and also palisade mein you can be able to see the chloroplast. These dots are there na? These dots are not meant for decoration. Each dot it is representing the presence of 1111 chloroplast. Hope you understood. Now again in the palisade again we need to take one chloroplast. See this is a palisade and also spongy, and again this is spongy और palisade, इससे हम एक chloroplast बाहर निकालना है. So this is one chloroplast. Now if you take the chloroplast it consisting of you know na cell biology I only explained, so you have to remember this because the cell it consisting of double membranous cell organelles and also mono single membranous cell organelles and also amembranous cell organelles. Double membranous cell organelles means the cell organelles which are covered by this two membranes, that means outer membrane and inner membrane, then that is called as a double membranous cell organelles. Unimembranous cell organelles means the cell organelles which are covered by only one layer, that means endoplasmic reticulum, lysosomes, vacuoles, they don't have two membranes, that's why they are called as unimembranous cell organelles. And amembranous, what does it mean amembranous? Membrane is only absent, completely membrane is only not present. For example, ribosomes. Ribosomes are not covered by any membrane. You remember na cell biology mein, that means the third unit mein I already explained this and you already wrote clear notes also. So if you forget, there is no problem. Once you take out the notes, एक बार up if you go through that, and obviously आपको सब याद आएगा. Okay. Now let us take the double membrane cell organelle, that is chloroplast. And if you take the chloroplast, I just 1 minute back I told it consisting of two membranes. See this black one, it is called as outer membrane. दिख रहा है ना? See just follow my arrow mark, आपको सब समझ में आएगा. See this is the outer membrane and this is the inner membrane. See आपको दिख रहा है ना? So these two membranes, outer membrane and inner membrane is present. That's why chloroplast it is called as a double membranous cell organelle. Hope you understood. Now within this chloroplast, see this is inside the chloroplast, you can be able to see the fluid that is present, and the fluid that is present in the chloroplast is called as a stroma. See either you just follow the arrow mark. So this is the stroma. Now floating in the stroma you can be able to see sac like structures. दिख रहा है ना? Blue color if I am correct. Blue, yes, this is blue color only. So this is sac like structure. These sac like structures are called what? Hope you remember thylakoids. देखो thylakoids. Okay. Now the problem kya hai na, these thylakoids, let us take, these are all thylakoids. What is the problem? You know, the thylakoids are always present in groups, and this is stalks of thylakoids, that means groups of thylakoids, that is called as grana. See dekho 1 2 3 4 see 5. So these are all what? Thylakoids, but these thylakoids, they are present in the group na, that group of thylakoid it is called as grana. Hope you understood. Of course, singular it is called as granum, and many are present. That's why I am using the word grana. Hope you understood. Now this is one grana, and this is another grana. But आपको दिख रहा है ना, एक grana it is connected to another grana by such a sac-like extension, such a membranous extension, that is called as stroma lamella. See, देखो, this is called as stroma lamella. Now this is one grana, and it is connected to another grana. Imagine one more grana here. They are connected by this structure that is called as stroma lamella. Hope you understood now. Now let us go for the light reaction and dark reaction. The light reaction, it is taking place in this thylakoid membrane. See, this is thylakoid, and it takes place in this thylakoid membrane. Okay, this is thylakoid membrane. So where exactly the light reaction is taking place, whereas dark reaction it is taking place in the liquid part, the fluid part of the chloroplast, that is called as a stroma. So in the stroma it takes place, the dark reaction it takes place in stroma, whereas the light reaction it takes place in the thylakoid membranes. Now you understood now? Now if you take the further details of the internal structure of the chloroplast, the internal structure of the chloroplast, it also consisting of the DNA, and it also consisting of the ribosomes. आपको दिख रहा है ना ribosomes, 70 type of ribosomes. And sir either ribosomes है either polysomes है, don't worry, sometimes ribosomes they form into a group. See, they are formed into a group, and the group of ribosomes are called as polysomes. अभी समझ में है ना? Now they are also consisting of the starch granules. What is the meaning of starch granules? Reserve food material. See, for example, if it is producing some amount of food material, all the food material एक ही दिन में it can't be able to eat ना, so it stores some amount of food material for the future use, and future use के लिए कितना amount of food material is stored, and that only it is called as reserve food material, and that is reserved in form of either starch granules or this lipid droplets. So दोनों are present. Okay. Now, so this is all about internal structure, and one important point I need to explain. What is that? You know, आपको दिख रहा है ना clearly, chloroplast it consisting of its own DNA, its own food material, and its own ribosomes. That is the reason why you do not wait for cell for its division. That means cell division हो जाएगा तो में divide होता है, ये सब बिल्कुल नहीं. If it want, for example, मुझे photosynthesis, एक leaf को ज़्यादा photosynthesis चाहिए, then according to the need, chloroplast by itself it participate in the replication. Now you understood na? That is the reason why the chloroplast, it is also called as semi-autonomous cell organelle. It can be able to replicate by itself. That's why it is called as a semi-autonomous cell organelle. It can be able to replicate by itself. The reasons for this is it consisting of its own DNA. The second reason, it consisting of its own food material. 3. It consisting of its own protein factory. What is the meaning of protein factory? Ribosomes are only called as protein factory. डिवीजन के लिए क्या चाहिए? प्रोटीन्स चाहिए. प्रोटीन्स आर प्रोड्यूस्ड आउट ऑफ दिस राइबोसोम्स. डिवीजन के लिए और क्या चाहिए? एनर्जी. एनर्जी इट इज प्रोड्यूस्ड आउट ऑफ द रिजर्व फूड मटेरियल. फॉर कंट्रोलिंग क्या चाहिए? डीएनए. सो ऑल द थ्री आर प्रेजेंट, सो इट कैन बी एबल टू डिवाइड बाय इटसेल्फ. इट डिवाइड्स बाय इट्स ओन. Now you understood na? That's why it is called a semi-autonomous cell organelle. A very short recap. 1 minute mein I'll give you a very short recap. The structure of the chloroplast, it consisting of outer membrane and inner membrane. That's why it is called as a double membranous cell organelle. Now, second point, point number 2. It inside it is filled up with a fluid structure, fluid part, and the fluid part it is called as a stroma. Point number 2. Point number 3. In the floating in this fluid part called stroma, you can be able to see this thylakoids. Point number 3. And these thylakoids are always present in stalks. And this stalk of the thylakoids, it is called as a grana. Now, these granas are interconnected by these sac-like structures. These stalks, they are called as stroma lamella. Point number 5 and point number 6 is it consisting of its own DNA, it consisting of its own ribosomes, and it consisting of its own food material. Because it is consisting of its own food material, its own DNA, its own ribosomes, it is called as semi-autonomous cell organelle. So it can be able to divide by itself. Hope you understood. So this is the structure of chloroplast. Now in the stroma, the dark reaction takes place. In the thylakoid membranes, the light reaction it takes place. So this is the exact place the photosynthesis it is taking place. Now, a very overview, a very simple short overview. In the leaf, again in the mesophyll tissue. In the mesophyll tissue, again in the chloroplast. In again chloroplast, the dark reaction it takes place in the stroma, and the light reaction it takes place in the thylakoid membranes. So this is the overview of site of photosynthesis. Students, hope you understood today's class. And finally, this is light reaction. Light reaction में light and water they will be utilized, and they produces ATP and NADPH2 and oxygen it is liberated out. And this by utilizing ATP and NADPH2, light independent reaction, dark reaction it is also called as a light independent. Why? It don't need light, that's why it is called as a light independent reaction. In this, carbon dioxide is converted into sugar. So this is the overview of the phases of 2 different phases of the photosynthesis. Hope you understood today's class. If you have any confusions or any doubts, you please ask me. I will answer you. Thank you so much.